Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK,
And I'm Courtney.
and how are you this week?
I am okay. I'm ready for this weekend because I'm off Monday and Sunday. And we had what's his face got sentenced to prison.
R. Kelly. R. Kelly did get sentenced to prison today. Yes,
30
that was a
years.
thing that
And
happened.
Ghislaine Maxwell got sentenced for 20 years yesterday. And while both of those sentences should probably be longer because they're going to get out before those time limits are out, at least they got something.
Yeah, but my problem with the Ghislaine Maxwell thing is like, yes, fantastic. I'm absolutely thrilled that she was sentenced to jail, but what about her clients?
What about what?
Her clients. Like you can't sell women, or let's be clear, girls, to other adults and not have someone who has purchased said girls. So give me that list.
That is what people would like. I don't think it's gonna happen, but who knows?
I don't either.
Any person. So, but that's how my week's going. It's fine. Things are.
I'm so glad that your week is based solely on what has happened to criminal celebrities.
Look, personal criminals. I know. Emotionally, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm so tired. It's been a long week and it's Wednesday. Me and Nora today literally we got there, we were just sitting there and everybody was gone by like 4 o'clock and we just looked at each other and started talking and it was 4:30 and she said, "Can we give up now?" I said, "Yeah, let's just go home." I was like, "It's fine."
I am very much enjoying my only week of summer.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, like I will still have summer, but like I go back to work next week.
Right. You're living your best life.
So this is my summer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We recorded on Saturday.
Friday? No, Saturday. You're right. We did record.
Right,
Saturday.
we recorded Saturday morning. We watched stuff Friday night. We watched stuff Friday night and then we recorded Saturday morning because I was too tired on Friday.
And by that, we mean we watched Saturday morning and then recorded on Saturday.
I watched Stargate Friday night.
I also watched Stargate Friday night. But
then what did I didn't do anything Sunday, I don't think. Oh, I did. Sunday, I went with my mom to my great grandma's house to meet with the real estate agent who is helping us sell her house. He's great. If you live in the Western New York area and need a real estate agent, let me know. I will give you Jay. He is fantastic. Love him. Anyway,
real estate agent if you live in the New York City area.
Perfect. Then Monday, what did I do on Monday? I felt like
you have to go to school, right? To do something?
No. I went to pick up concert tickets and I had a lunch date on Monday. That's what I did.
Oh,
I love how I gay-handed that for no reason.
a nice lunch.
It was a nice lunch. I spent 4.5 hours sitting there chatting with my lovely friend, who I had not seen in 4 years.
Oh.
And it was great. He taught me how to talk to awkward boys. It was wonderful. He's also the weirdest person. Okay, this man, I have no idea how old he is.
I'm so sorry if that makes noise. Did you hear that?
I did, but it's fine.
Okay.
This man, I have in the past been intimate with this man. I have no idea how old he is. He will not tell me how old he is. I don't know his birth.
A vague understanding.
I have a 5-year age range.
That's
right. But do not know his birthday. Do not know his age. He has scrubbed it from the internet. I cannot find it anywhere at all. And now he is thinking it's so funny that I'm so bothered by it. I go, You're the oldest person I've ever been with. He's like, you don't even know how old I am. I go,
Doesn't matter.
yeah, but you are. He goes, okay. And I go, so I'm going to need an age so that I know if someone else is older. He was like, I'm not going to tell you. I was like,
Why is he so like,
I don't know. It's the
You're-
weirdest thing. That should be like a huge red flag. If someone won't tell you
Right.
their age, like that's a huge red flag.
yeah. Especially like 4 years. Like if you haven't seen him in 4 years, that means you've known him for at least 4 years.
Yeah, we've
And he
been
never
friends.
told
We've
you.
been friends since 2015.
That's a
We've been
long
friends for
time.
7 years.
Yeah.
And I do not know how old he is. I know he is somewhere between 35 and 40. I'm convinced he is 37, turning 38 in August of this year. I know he's a Leo. I think he's an August Leo. He was like, how do you know the difference? I said, you do.
You know the difference. Yeah.
You know the difference. I don't know. But then yesterday, no, I'll share that story later.
Okay.
I realized I can't tell you everything that I've done because then I'll have nothing to talk about on Thursday's podcast.
I know. Yep.
So
I'm sorry. My life is inactive.
it's okay. It's my only week of summer. But speaking of summer and living your best life, how can we be spiritual AF today?
Yes. No is a full sentence.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Unless your English teacher asks you to write the answer in complete sentences, then no is not a full sentence.
Maybe. But yes, that is correct. Set your boundaries and live your best life. And it's okay.
That actually reminds me of a story of what happened to me yesterday. I went to a concert. You guys will learn about my concert on Thursday. But as I was going to the concert, because I do my VIP weird concert things because that's what I do, this guy walked up to me and my friend and he was like, hey, how do you guys get up to that like area of the theater? And I go, that's for the sponsors. And he goes, what does that even mean? I go, it means my dad paid for this concert. And he goes, who's your dad? And like tried to hit on me. I go, you will never know. And I just walked away. And my friend Anna was cracking up. She was like, that was ballsy. And I go, I do not do well with men like that. Do not. No. No.
I also do not. Yes.
No. Ooh. What doesn't give me the ick is Stargate SG1.
You're right. You're right.
I'm killing it with transitions today.
You are.
This episode of Stargate SG1 came out. Just kidding. It's season 1, episode 16, called Enigma, which I don't think I understand. Like I do, but it could have been titled better.
I don't really
I don't like
100%
that.
understand either of the titles for this week, so it's fine.
It was rated 8 stars, which I am cool with.
I agree.
It came out on January 30th, 1998. The number 1 song is still Truly Madly Deeply, and the number 1 movie is still Titanic. It will be
Forever.
for some time. Some cool things that happened on January 30th of 1998. The Howard Stern radio show premiered.
In 98?
Yeah,
I thought I'd been around longer.
so did I. But
I saw him once.
did you?
He was having cheese at the Walt Disney Concert Hall in LA.
Got it. Also, Paul Simon's musical The Cape Man premiered at the Marquee Theater and ran for 68 performances.
Is that anything like Nightman?
I have no idea. I did not look it up, but it only ran for 68 performances despite being by Paul Simon. So it couldn't have been great.
I mean, neither is Nightman. That's what it's called. It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
They're not related.
Oh, okay. I don't know what we're talking about. It was directed by William Garrity. This is his second of 12 episodes. He previously directed The Braca Divide, which we did not like. It was the one where they turn into cavemen. Early, yeah.
Yeah, not a favorite.
Then it was written by Catherine Powers, who has written a bunch for us so far. The guest star of this episode, I'm talking about probably not the one you're going to think I would talk about.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about Mirim.
Why not?
Because I'm saving him.
Okay.
Because he will appear on the show again.
You will talk to him. Okay.
He will appear on the show later, and I will talk about him then. But
Fine.
I'm talking about the man who played Omak. That's his name, correct?
I thought
yes, Omak. It is Omak.
Okay.
And the reason I'm talking about Omak is because he's a bigger star. It might not seem like it, but he is. Omak was played by a man named Tobin Bell. Tobin Bell appeared on 13 episodes of The Flash in CW.
Oh, I probably saw that then.
He appeared in 2 episodes of my favorite MacGyver, not the original MacGyver, my MacGyver. But what Tobin Bell is famous for, and I don't mean like a little tiny bit famous. I mean like everyone who watches this podcast should know him because of the genre of this podcast.
Gosh, I'm not going to know him from this.
Tobin Bell is Jigsaw.
I haven't seen that.
Right. But like, you can't really know horror and not know who Jigsaw is. Like, you don't have to have seen the Saw movies to know that Jigsaw is kind of a big deal in horror.
But also, like, you never see his face, right? Like, I wouldn't recognize Tobin.
No, exactly, because of the Jigsaw mask. Right. Unless you've seen the movies and seen when because he does take the mask off in some of the movies because they go into weird directions.
Yes.
But yes, Tobin Bell is Jigsaw. So like in terms of the scope of this podcast, I felt like he was kind of a bigger deal to talk about.
I have a big deal.
I like pull up his eye.
P.S. Never watched the Saw movies. Me
either, because I don't do blood.
I don't mind blood, but those movies are just, I can only take so much of the torture-y movies, and Final Destination is my heart stuff.
So
love those movies, but still.
I pulled up his IMDb, and the first thing that came up was one of the Saw movies, and I go, oh, he was in one of the Saw movies. That's cool. Horror connection. I look at it. It's like character Jigsaw, and I go,
he is movies.
And then I was like, wait a second. I knew that. I should have known that name. Like, I don't know the Saw movies well, but I should have known that name. I feel like Monica and I have talked about that before.
Probably.
So, yeah, so our guest star who plays cranky old man Omak is cranky old man Jigsaw. Yeah. So we start with the SG team. Oh, wait. We start with a blurb. I forgot. SG team rescues a group of advanced aliens, but must risk court-martial to prevent the aliens' technology from falling into the wrong hands.
Yep.
I have one problem with that blurb. The use of the word aliens in the show is very generic because they use it to talk about alien races, but then they also use it to talk about like people who just live on a different planet, which technically both of those terms, the term for them is alien, but they use it so loosely that I'm always confused as to what they mean by alien.
Yes, that is absolutely a fair argument.
Because also, like, you can be an alien if you're just not from that country. Like, alien just means of a different place. But also, please clarify. So we start with the gate opening, and they are arriving on a planet that fun fact, is in the middle of an active volcano
And it
eruption.
felt like the way this scene looks feels very 90s horror. And I understand that this is not that. And it
Yes.
doesn't continue that way, but the very first scene, I feel like I'm watching a 90s horror film where they're like out deep in the woods, and it's got that grainy almost feel.
The opening scene from this episode where they're going out into the planet and there's the ash everywhere is part of the credit montage. If you watch the credits every week, that scene is in the credits.
I do, and I didn't.
It is actually the scene right before they have General Hammond and Don S. Davis's name. So next time you're watching the credits, the opening scene from this is the scene directly before General Hammond's face. I don't have the credits memorized, but also I might have the credits memorized.
Probably.
Anyway, I'm a crazy person.
Well, I was watching the credits today and I was like, did they change the credits? No, they have not changed the credits. I've watched them 16 weeks in a row. Correct. And today I was like, did they change these? No. So we're on spectrums.
Yep. So Jack tells Daniel to dial the gate. They're getting out of there. They're like and Daniel's like, absolutely, no questions. Oh, wait, is that a person over there? Let me go. Except for he doesn't say a person. He goes, there's something out there. You just said no questions, Daniel. Daniel fucking Jackson.
What are we going to do with him? Could you imagine, like, if he wasn't in the story, though?
Oh, nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. It would be
nothing without him. Like, even if we, like, say didn't have Tilk, it'd be sad because he's, like, comedic relief and I like him. But, like, this storyline could still happen. If we didn't have Sam, like, we just wouldn't have another military force. Like, these are all people that are important. But Daniel Jackson is the only reason that these storylines go so off, like, kilter, I feel like.
He is being used almost as a plot device, though. Like, it's getting to the point where sometimes there's no way Daniel would actually do that. Like, he is just like the Flintstone for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And not like the Flintstone, like Meet the Flintstones, like
right.
I hate the English language sometimes.
That's why you teach it.
You're not wrong. So Daniel compares everything to Pompeii because everyone's dying of suffocation before the lava even gets there, and there's all this stuff in the air, and they're trying to find all of these people and figure out if they're alive or not. And then this guy like wakes up and grabs Sam and says, "Don't help us." What? Especially because then later in the episode, it's made clear that he is glad that they were saved. So, like, what the fuck?
But at first, he didn't understand all of the intricacies that go along with feelings. He was thinking strictly from a...
Well, he's a man. Of course he didn't understand the intricacies that go along with feelings.
Okay. Fair.
You've met men before, right?
Noreen. He understands feelings.
That was Noreen.
Was it? I thought it was Anna who said that.
No, it was Noreen who said that.
No. Well, I don't know what to tell you then.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Mm.
Oh, so...
Well, that's right, because he thought she was an agent. Yeah. I follow.
So they do, in fact, bring them to Earth anyway, despite being told not to help these people, which is fine. Not mad about it. What would you do? Just leave them to die?
Right.
So 10 people were evacuated, and Dr. Fraser says they're all going to survive, and it's all very exciting. This is the greatest rescue mission to ever happen. They have these devices on them that like emit radiation, but no one can figure out what they are. And Daniel starts talking about how it's very possible for other species, like other planets, to be more scientifically advanced because we lived through the dark ages.
I mean, yes. I have no doubt someone is smarter than us.
Yeah, but listen, sometimes when sci-fi shows like make excuses for like other planets being more scientifically advanced, they just say shit.
They just make stuff up. Like, how do you know that the other planet didn't
Didn't
go through the Dark Ages?
right.
Maybe they had a Great Depression. You don't know.
We know nothing. We know nothing about any of these cultures. And they're like, well, they didn't have to do what we did. Which, to be fair, if anyone who's on any planet out there maybe is somehow like linked into like Earth internet and seeing this, please God, don't do what we're doing.
Are we reaching out to the aliens directly right now?
Yes.
Hello.
Dear extraterrestrials of any kind, do not become this godforsaken planet. Thank you.
Do
Have a
not.
nice day.
And we love you. We're friendly.
Yeah. Well, we are.
No, the rest of the world is not, but we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So the spokesperson, who then we find out is Omok, we don't know at this time, is now awake and wants to speak to the whole XG team. And he's like, why did you bring us here? And they're like, to fucking save your life, my dude. And he's like, that's not good for you. What? And he's like
so unappreciative.
He's like, you are primitive people. You could not possibly have operated the gate correctly.
And I, from now on, would like to tell everyone who annoys me that they're primitive people. I don't care if they're smarter than me or more technologically advanced.
Well,
because that feels like such a burn every time he says it.
it does. It feels so aggressively insulting. Every time Omak or Naram is like, you guys are primitive. Like to the point where Sam's like, can you please stop fucking calling us primitive? Right. Like,
you're not too bad.
Not. Like, I get it. Our technology, not in the same place as yours, but like, we're fucking people too, my dude. So, and then Teal'c's like, no, they're very smart here. He's like, yeah. Then he's like, they care about people here. He's like, that's nice coming from a Jaffa.
What? Yeah.
So now you are just an asshole.
These people saved your life, even though you don't seem to care that they saved your life.
And then they're like, okay, like fucking spill the beans, my dude. Who are you? He's like, my name is Omak. I come from the planet Talam. We do know of the Goa'uld, but he said, we do not interact with them. And General Ham's like, great, we have a common enemy. He's like, bitch, should I say they were my enemy?
No, I was like, who are these people and why are they not enemies of the Goa'uld?
He was like, we do neither interact positively or negatively. We just are aware of their existence. That's all we've got. And that kind of feels to me like I was over on the bench.
Yeah.
Like, you know of their existence, you know that they're taking out whole other civilizations, and you're just
like
idly sitting by saving your own technology. Like, okay, but I was over on the bench.
Right.
And if you don't get that reference, I don't know how you're friends with us.
Truly well.
Anyway. So Omak then demands that they give all of their stuff back and let them go. And they're like, abso-fucking-lutely not. There is still an active volcano. We will not be reopening the gate. Thank you. Come again.
Yes.
And Daniel's like, and since you're stuck here, let's talk.
He's like, by the way, I'm very interested to learn about you while you're here.
And Omak's like, take a fucking hike, my dude. Not a chance. So then Sam is down in the gate room repairing a UAV as a recon probe to try to figure out what's going on with the volcano. And Daniel's like, hey, one of these guys clearly has the fucking hots for you. Please go use your googly eyes to get us information. Because once again, Sam is defined by her gender.
Shocking, I know.
I know. Which, to be fair, I don't hate the Sam and Narum interactions.
No, 0%. I'm thrilled. I love
But I
it.
was a little pissed that that was the direction we had to take it in.
I will say I was at first, but the more it goes along, you see that she would be the best choice, not only because he was interested in her, but because of how smart she is. And because
Right. Well, and then he talks to her and he tells her a bunch of things, and it's like about why he wanted to talk to her or he trusted her, and it makes sense. But like in that moment when Daniel's like, you go talk to him, and General Hammond is like, he's taken with you. I'm like, what is wrong with all of you men? So Naram is like, okay, like I want to see planet Earth. And for some reason, General Hammond's like, yeah, definitely take him outside.
So, a question. Are you going to tell me how I know him, or do I have to wait until he reappears?
Oh, yeah, I didn't write it down because I was just gonna say it later. But no, he's one of those guys who's been in a little tiny bit of everything. He's been in like one episode of a bunch of stuff. I don't know that you necessarily know him.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember. He was in the original MacGyver.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing that he did. But he just has that face. Like he has that face where you're like, I've definitely seen him in literally everything.
Like, oh, I can't remember. There's a guy who has a very similar dark haircut.
Mm-hmm.
And
but like he was in like one episode of Arrow and one episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland and one episode of Endgame and 2 episodes of Supernatural. Like he doesn't have anything that like
this is his role.
Hugely stands out. No.
Okay.
He's just one of those guys that has a really, really familiar face. Mm-hmm. But I will actually say that there is one thing that I think he stands out for, but I don't. It's one of those things that I'm still convinced no one else in the entire world has ever watched.
So far, you've been right every time.
And that is that he played the coach, the basketball coach, in the 1996 Disney Channel original movie, Suzy Q.
You're right. I haven't seen it.
That it is the best Disney Channel movie to ever exist. Amy Jo Johnson.
Watch Cadet Kelly?
Yes.
Mm.
No, this is better.
Mm.
Like, and I have Cadet Kelly on VHS.
Me too.
That I taped from the Disney Channel. Actually, I think I just threw it out. Okay. Like last week. There's more to the story. That is not for the podcast. I did not record it myself. Someone recorded it for me, and I threw out everything that came from them.
Gotcha.
But Suzy Q is this movie about this girl named Suzy Q who died in the 50s, but then her ghost is like hanging out, and this boy is the only one who can see her. And she's played by Amy Jo Johnson from like the Pink Power Ranger.
Have I seen this?
I don't. It's the best movie ever of all time. And the boy is played by Justin Wallen, who
I know him.
But the ghost of a girl who died in 1955 appears to a troubled teen living in her old house. and he's like oh no, it's not a basketball coach, it's a football coach, but he's like a football player, and he moves into this house, and then like this girl is like her ghost is there, and it's
Okay, I have not seen this, but also Shelley Long is in it.
yeah,
That's wild.
it's literally it's like the least known um
Hmm.
Disney Channel movie. Like nobody ever knows that it exists, but it is.
And guess who else is in it? Laura Harris, our girl from Dead Like Me.
Oh, that's right.
She plays someone named Jeanette.
Yes. But and Garwin Sanford, who plays Naram, plays Coach Stanford.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yes.
Follow.
Yeah. So if anyone, that movie is unfortunately not on Disney Plus, I don't think. Although it absolutely should be, because it is a Disney Channel original movie, and it is so stupid that it's not on Disney Plus. This is my official petition to put it on Disney Plus so that everyone can see how amazing it is.
It is. Okay, I'm in.
Anyway, but so Niram goes outside to talk to Sam. He's like, I really shouldn't even be talking to you, but like, I'm grateful to be alive. And like, when I thought I was dying, I saw you. And there's this old like myth on our planet that when somebody dies, these beautiful creatures come to take them to. And she's like, oh, angels, that's the thing. He's like, so you still believe in them? She was like, some people do. And he's like, I thought you were an angel because you look like an angel. And then he like freaks out because he sees a bird. And he's like, there are no living animals. I thought I would never see a living animal. And I was like, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
So sad, right?
But he tells her that like Omac's really just trying to protect everyone, not just them, but like her and her people too. So they go back inside and they send the UAV into the planet, but it turns out that Talon's air is still too hot and too toxic to breathe, and the lava is flowing straight toward the Stargate. So within a matter of days, the Stargate will be kaput. No more Stargate on Talon. And we find out that and so they tell Omak, and he's like, are you sure? They're like, yeah. And he's like, well, that fucking sucks. Still not telling you anything.
Right.
So Sam's like, hey, beautiful man who has feelings for me, what the fuck is going on? And he tells her that they were trying to close the gate because the planet is in cataclysm. That's the word I wrote. I was like, it looks like it said Kelsian with a Y.
Nope.
The planet is on a cataclysmic path, and they needed to close the gate so that no one could ever go back there and die.
Right. Fair.
And they're trying to get a plant to another planet, but the planet they're trying to go to is outside of their gate system. So they need a spaceship. But fun fact, SG does not have spaceships.
No, they do not.
So the team breaks up and they're going to go look for old favors and also get a refugee housing ready in the base because obviously these people are going to be here for a minute. Yeah. So when they set them up in refugee housing, they give them back their weird radiation devices and was like, you can have these back, but you cannot leave. And he's like, oh, so we're prisoners. And they're like, No, you're not.
Only
But like you can't go anywhere.
right.
And Omak does not like that very much.
I mean, fair. I also would not like that very much.
Right.
Very much being held as prisoners, even though they're saying it's not that.
Yes. Um, then Niram and Sam are hanging out, being a little flirty. She brought him some books about Earth and some pictures and a cat. And the cat is named Schrodinger.
I lost my mind. I was like, of course, the cat's name is Schrodinger.
So then when Niram obviously did not get the joke, she explained Schrodinger's cat to him, and he goes, "Oh, yes, that quantum physics thing. Yeah, we've disproved that."
Yeah, I was like, just cancel quantum physics. That's fine.
Yeah. My next, oh, and then Omak overhears them talking and is a lot unhappy. Not a fan of this relationship. And then the next thing you know, the people have escaped. What?
And these are just my favorite people so far. Like, I like other people, but these people, they are just like so matter of fact. They're so smart,
Yeah.
and I just love it.
So, but then they escape. So the SG team goes outside to find them, and they are like, "We were just watching the stars, but like maybe not really, because that seemed kind of sketchy." So then, funny story, because this episode was directed by William Garrity, Tupelo and the people of the Land of Light come back. They were the Land of the Light was where the Braca Divide happened.
And I did not realize it was called Land of the Light. I know we talked about that probably.
Yeah.
But the more they talk about it, it sounds awful. And I want to create a Land of the Dark, I've decided.
Yeah, but the dark side of the Land of the Light was where everyone was turning into cavemen and killing each other.
But I want to make my own Land of the Dark, not their Land of the Dark. I want there to be fireflies and stars everywhere and campfires.
Yeah, but you just described all of the things that light up the dark. You don't actually want a Land of the Dark. You just want nighttime lights.
Yes. Correct.
That's not dark.
But I don't want the sun.
Okay, so you just don't want the sun, but you don't want dark.
Yes. Correct. But if it was the Land of the Dark, I could have all my nighttime lights and fireworks. You need the Land of the Dark to have nighttime lights.
I guess.
Yes, correct.
I would still disagree. You stand behind that. You stand behind that.
I will.
So Tupelo is earnest and generous and sweet, and he's ready to take them in. And Omak is a douche tool who's like, "You're even more primitive than these motherfuckers. I don't want you."
He was so kind too.
So Sam goes to Niram, her new beau, and she's like, "Hey, sweet baby cheeks, what is the real problem? Because Omak clearly not telling us something." And Niram, because he has been swayed by her blue eyes and blonde hair, is like, "Okay, so listen, there was this planet that we found, and we went and visited them, and we gave them this magical energy device. And then instead of like creating a better society, they used the magical energy device to create vicious war that destroyed their entire planet in one day and knocked our planet so far off of its course around the sun that everything started to die."
And I was like, yep, that makes sense. That's what happens.
My next note just says Niram is smitten.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was just obsessed with the word smitten today because I think I might have sent a text that said I was smitten right before I wrote that. Smitten. So I don't know if something actually happened or if I was just obsessed with them as a couple.
Yeah, either way, it could have happened.
So
I put
then,
now Sam has a crush, so something must have happened. But I also could not tell you what it was.
right. Um, oh, I know. I remember what it was. She said you guys could just stay on Earth. And he was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would like to stay on Earth to learn about one particular one of its inhabitants. And then there was a cute moment. He was like, I'm obviously talking about Schrodinger. And I was like, yes, I love it.
Ah, I love it so much.
So then Jack and Omak get into a fight and they are screaming at each other. And Omak is absolutely sure they only care about the technology and not the people. And Jack's like, that's a little difficult since we still don't know what the fuck the technology is. And Omak's like,
Right.
never gonna help you.
Yeah.
So then General Hammond sends somebody in to get the SG team because, fun fact, they figured out how to mess with the cameras enough to see what happened in the escape, and they are magically able to walk through walls. And of course, because it's TV and the timing always works this way, military douchebag walks in just at this moment and is like, aha, perfect. Thank you so much. The president will be glad to see that.
You were not invited to this party, sir. Please leave.
Correct. Um, I actually wrote some military douche gets all up in the way of shit.
Yes.
That's how I wrote it.
That's 100% correct.
So then we find out that the NID, which is in some intelligence something, wants to take the Talon, and General Hammond is like, fuck you, sir. I still outrank you.
I put yes, Hammond.
When General Hammond was like, that was not a suggestion, Colonel, it was an order. I was like,
It was.
yes. And Jack's like, didn't we already say that they were healthy? And Hammond's like, shut the fuck up. I didn't say shit.
Exactly.
But then because all the military people are there being angry, Niram's like, fuck, it's like Sarita all over again. Everybody just wants technology and weapons and fighting, and this is awful, and I don't want to be here, and I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Then the president, who we've already discussed in the show, the fictional president that is not really the real president, but who was also Bill Clinton, but not Bill Clinton because it wasn't the real president, is an asshole.
The worst.
This is like the third episode in a row where the president fucks some shit up. The president authorized releasing the Talon to Mayburn.
Yes.
But Jack pulls a secret meeting with General Hammond outside. And General Hammond's like, why did you bring me outside? And he's like, because Mayburn isn't here. And he's like, okay, I'm listening. And they figure out that the only escape for the Talon is to actually have the Talons escape. And Hammond's like, no. If we help them, that we will be court-martialed. And they're like, but ha ha ha, Daniel is a civilian scientist on secret assignment. He cannot be court-martialed. Also, Teal'c.
Jackson loophole.
Also, Teal'c is not even on record as being on Earth.
Right.
So
it would be hard to court-martial him.
Correct. So Daniel goes to Omak to talk to them, and Omak obviously does not trust Daniel.
Yeah.
And Daniel's like, listen, I don't want your technology. I would like to introduce you to the Nox. They're these people that are also advanced and also shut off communication to us because our planet sucks. And so Omak sends a message to the Nox. They go up to the mountaintop. He takes Daniel with him in his cool disappearing thing. And he sends this message, and then he like vaguely tries to explain their technology to Daniel, who, even with Daniel being as smart as Daniel is, does not get it.
No. I was so thrilled when they mentioned the Nox because I feel like we're finally starting to make connections in the Stargate world. It only took 15 episodes, but here we are.
I literally, when they were talking about the Knox, I was like, Courtney's going to be so happy this episode.
So happy. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
So then Naram comes to see Sam and say goodbye, and he gives her this device that I absolutely wish was real.
I think it would be excellent and also terrible.
Right. It would be the worst thing that ever happened to fuckboys. Like, let's be clear. But also,
do we real emotions?
Do we care?
Oh, it would be bad for them.
Yeah. It would be bad for them, because then people would see that they didn't actually have any real feelings. But like, it would be amazing. I want it. Anyway, this device shows someone, like, has someone feel the emotions that someone else felt. Like, it records emotions. And then he's like, we have this other custom that is more deep than words. And he kisses her, and she was like, we have that custom too. And it's beautiful. And I started to cry a little tiny bit. And then Daniel awkwardly walked in and ruined everything.
Oops.
He just goes, oops.
I laughed.
But then Mayburn tries to so then the gate has been, Daniel tells Sam they need to do something. We don't know what they're doing, but he says he needs her help. Then all of a sudden the gate is being activated off-world, and General Hammond is confused, but like genuinely, because they did not fill him in on the plan, obviously. Yes. So the gate is being activated, something is coming in, the iris is being broken through. So they open the blast door and they see all the Talon standing in the gate room with Daniel, and Mayburn starts like yelling about court-martial, and they're like, haha, civilian, bitch. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, you can't take them away, you can't let them go. And they're like, we didn't open the gate, like, it's being activated off-world, like, that's not on us. And then Laya walks in. And Laya sees all the guns, and she looks at Daniel and she says, your planet has not changed, but you have. So I will take these people with me.
It was so sweet.
And then the Knox make all the Talon disappear, like go invisible, and then they make all the guns go invisible, and Jack is just cracking up and he's like, God, I love these people. I know. And I was like, me too, Jack. Me too. And then everything goes, and Mayburn leaves because there's no people and everybody's pissed off, and the SG team is just kind of standing in the gate in the gate room looking at the gate, and Daniel's like smiling like stupidly, and Jack's like, what are you thinking about? And it's like, something this fluffy-haired old little guy said to me one time. And Jack's like, the young don't always do what they're told. And I was like, God, I love the Knox.
I know.
So much. The Knox are the best thing about the show so far.
Yeah, I believe it.
And that's the end of the episode. So we had an episode where we actually connected back to an alien that we've already talked about.
Yes.
And it was good.
Yes, I really liked this episode. I feel like maybe this should have been like a mid-season kickoff coming back, maybe. Because it was,
yeah.
It was like our first minorly big connection, I guess. It wasn't.
I guess. I mean, I do think the Goa'uld connection last week was like the Jaffa connection. It's just that Korai wasn't a well done episode. Yeah. Like the premise of it wasn't awful. It was just that the episode itself wasn't great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I really liked this one. I liked the connections. I liked the new people. It was really well done. I think it might be one of my favorite episodes we've seen.
Yay! I love that. Did you have a favorite person in this episode?
I
I know we
mean,
usually do. What?
Narum.
Oh, Narum. Okay, obviously. Mine is Laya, just because I love her and I was happy she came back.
I also like her, yeah.
What about someone that you'd like to punch?
Mayburn.
Obviously.
I would like to punch him
Also,
10 times.
also like a little bit Omok is mine because like he wasn't
Oh,
wrong. He was doing the right thing, but like there was no reason to be that rude about it.
exactly, yeah.
Especially to Tuplo. Tuplo did not deserve that.
No. No. I mean, I can understand coming at the military that way whenever like
Right.
they can take you from your like town, but Tupelo was just there to help. Like
Tupelo was just there, and it is not his fault that his culture just like doesn't have technology. Like they live happily with farms and candles. Like leave them alone. Technology has ruined so many things. People who are happy living with their farms and their candles are wonderful. Like the Amish made it this far for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but they did.
Rumspringa.
Oh, Rumspringa.
That's the one. That's how they've made it.
We should all, just like no matter what your religion, no matter what you believe, just like once every, even if it was like every 8 years, you just take like a month to be a different person. You have no responsibility, no anything. You go somewhere else and do whatever the fuck you can't do in your real life. And then you just come home and pretend it never happened and get all that shit out of your system.
Fun fact, that is how Starbucks does their program. If you've been there for 8 years, you get like a month off to go do something different and then come back and you get your job back. At least it was that way like 6 years ago when I worked there. And that's basically their whole philosophy. And they give you health insurance.
Well, and some Starbucks are unionized now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks specifically. I don't know. Have we talked about this on the podcast about the Starbucks unions?
No.
The Starbucks union, the first Starbucks store to be unionized, the head of the spearheading, that's the word. The spearhead of this campaign to get Starbucks unionized is my friend, like who I work with at Shays. She ran the Starbucks that was the first union. Yeah. So the first unionized Starbucks was in Buffalo, and it was thanks to Michelle Bison.
Starbucks does good for their people. You get profit sharing. You get all kinds of good stuff. Just so many good benefits.
I actually was in Starbucks the other day, and I was like, if I needed another part-time job, I don't think I'd hate working here.
They pay for college. They're a good company to work for. I just had a mental breakdown in the middle of it because it was my second year of law school, so I didn't stay very long. But
I just actually have a job in my career, so
I mean, same. But
if you want to work at Starbucks or have a message to send to the aliens that we've communicated with on this podcast, please send us an email at deathandaliens@gmail.com.
and we will filter through and only send the best responses to the aliens.
Absolutely. You can also send us a message on any of the social medias at Death and Aliens, all one word. You can follow me at EMKAY_superstar.
Oh, and you can I just like it's super salty. I'm fine. You can follow me at CECloud13.
And we will see you on Thriller Thursday.
Yeah.
Bye.